Hello everybody, and welcome to my 21st VBA 2010 tutorial. And this tutorial is going to show you how to use for loops to fill in an array with values. And so let's just get rid of this. So first of all, we're going to declare an array. So dim my array, and we want to make it just one dimensional. We're going to give it 9 elements and let's make them integers, and then we're going to do our for loop. So for, and we're going to call our variable I, and this time I'm going to declare my variable first, so dim I as integer, and then for I equals 0 to, and then we want to put in 9. And then next, so the reason I've chosen 0 to 9 rather than 1 to 10 as before is because although there's 10 elements in this array, the index goes from 0 to 9, so I want my index variable here to go from 0 through to 9. And then I just want to put in, I'm going to make the values of the array, so my array, and then I can use my variable there as the index for the array, so I don't actually have to put in 1, 2, 3, or 4, or 5, 0, etc. I can actually put in a variable integer in there as the index instead. So this is where arrays are really going to come into their own, and also for loops are really going to become useful. So then let's down here, let's do another for loop. So this for loop is just going to write the I'm going to put a new, do a new integer, so let's put dim x as integer. I'm going to put for x equals 0 to 9 again, so we're going to go through all the elements again, and then this time I'm going to make the values on the sheet. So I'm going to make these 10 values here equal to the elements of my array. So let's go this workbook dot sheet1 dot cells, and then for the row, instead of putting in the number of the row, I'm going to use my integer here, but because I want them to go from rows 1 to 10 rather than rows 0 to 9, which would throw me an error message because you can't have a row 0, I'm going to plus 1 onto it. And then for my column, I just want column 1, and then dot value. And I'm going to make that equal to my array, and then the x index. So let's just recap this. So I've declared an array with 10 elements, indexing from 0 through to 9. I've then declared an integer for my first for loop that's going to loop through from the indexes 0 through to 9, and it's going to fill in the array with the values of the index in that array. It's then going to relay these to the sheet with a loop that's just going to go through all the elements in the array, and it's just going to write those out. So let's press play on this, and somehow I've got that slightly wrong, haven't I? Okay, so the reason it's not working, and it took me a while to work that one out, sorry. So it equals I. So the reason it's not working is because I just stuck in the array reference there, but I hadn't actually made it equal to anything. So if you put equal I there to make it equal to the value of I, and then press play, and then if we go into our spreadsheet, and then it's just got the values there, so 0 through to 9. And then if we just pop back into our code, and so that's how you would use a for loop to go through an array. So one last thing just before I finish, you don't actually need to know how many indexes your array has in the first place. So what you can use is you can use a keyword called ubound, and open bracket, and then just pass it the array, close bracket. And then what this is going to do is ubound works out how many elements there are in the array, or what the maximum index is, and it returns that. So we can put this in instead of our 9. And if we press play, then you'll notice it's done exactly the same thing. If we get rid of these and just run it again, just so you can prove that it's done it, and there you go. So if you don't know what the IDs in your array are, or you know you're not going to know in your code, then ubound is a really useful one for just working out what the maximum ID you can go to is. So that's it for this tutorial. Thanks for listening. If you're enjoying these, please subscribe, and I hope to catch you in the next tutorial.